Hey y'all. Since today, uh, since this is going over a presser or whatever, I wasn't gonna do like the intro and stuff. We'll do that at our 1:30 live stream like we do every day. Hey Tiffany and Cara and Island Girl Diana and Jenny Jen, thank you for being here. So I'm trying to get a live feed of the presser. Oh, hold on. I do got a news article that we can go over real quick where it shows some of the like photos and things of the stuff they've seized, and it gives us a little bit more information as soon as I can find it. Oh, there it is. Hold on just a minute. And we'll look at that. I'm still trying to find a live feed, but I don't think they're going to show me him in court for whatever reason. So while we're looking for a live feed, there is a video on this page, and I'm going to continue to look for the live feed and be watching for the presser after his court date. He should be in court right now. He was suspected in court. He's supposed to be in court at 9:30. Hey, Trixie. Thank you for being here. So this article says suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann back in court as defense says they'll seek change of venue. So that's what's going on right now. I know this one was showing me some stuff a minute ago. Oh, got it. Y'all are so awesome. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up. All right, let me unmute this so y'all can hear.
Rex Heuermann was in court today. His defense attorney telling the judge that he wants the DNA evidence thrown out. Jennifer McLogan has been covering the murder since day one and has some new details from inside the courtroom.
Wearing a light blue shirt and dark blue tie, accused serial killer Rex Heuermann glanced once into the courtroom, his estranged wife not among the onlookers. Immediately, both sides cut to the chase. How quickly can the defense get all the raw data from Heuermann's 400 seized electronic devices? And will there be a hearing this coming spring challenging the new nuclear DNA called SNP, provided by prosecutors linking victims' hairs to the Gilgo Beach suspect? The defense has called an outside lab's unproven methods of genetic testing magic.
We say absolutely not. And obviously the district attorney has a different opinion. And it's a scientific issue, and the judge is going to have to decide.
With a voluminous amount of evidence in this monumental case, the DA says his funds are running low. In 2020, before he was in office, the feds froze $13 million in county forfeiture money due to an investigation into the funds.
And so I'm going to go to the Department of Justice once again.
Okay, so this was an older article, but I wanted to show it to you because it has some information on it. Toxic just gave me the stream to watch it live, so we'll watch. I've got it on that. They haven't started yet, so I'm waiting for them. There's supposed to be a presser after his court date, and they're going to give out some information. Probably, if I had to guess, I would think they've got him with another homicide. Tiffany said, this man is despicable to me. Sorry for my harsh comment. No, he's very despicable to me as well. He used women and just threw them away like they were trash, like they were nothing, just because, his sick fetishes, I don't know. This is a very sick individual. Absolutely.
Again, hat in hand, and I will beg them, please give me this money so I can litigate this very significant serial killer case.
There could be future indictments. Numbers of victims linked to Heuermann have been growing from 4 young sex workers disposed of near Gilgo Beach to 2 more whose murders go back to 1993 and 2003.
Very important for us is to sever count the 5th and 6th victims in the indictment from the first 4, meaning try those separate and apart.
He says Rex Heuermann is eager for a trial and change of venue to find a fair and impartial jury.
Where do I hope it would be? The trial itself? Mars. I don't know.
The defense claims any jury pool here is poisoned. Heuermann remains in jail isolation due to his notoriety. Back in court in December when we could learn a trial date. On Long Island, Jennifer McLogan, CBS News, New York.
Let me out on the roads.
New this morning, police are looking for 3 people who they say robbed a man at gunpoint.
And I'm muted. I just clicked back to see if I was muted, and I was. Hold on a minute, and I'll start that over. I'm watching News Nation. Hold on, I'll show you that real quick. So you know that I've got it up, waiting for them. And then we'll go back to the article, because I'm just trying to wait for them to go live with it. So this is where I'm waiting for them to go live. This is the only place that has it right now. I'm going to refresh it just to make sure they're not live. Hey, Joy. Yeah, we're waiting. It says they're waiting for 9:30, but it's 9:39. This is the only thing I've found as far as it being live, and we're waiting for them to come live. I apologize for being muted just a second ago. Hey, Willow Moss True Crime. Yeah, this is on News Nation if you want to go watch it by yourself. Toxic said, I doubt DNA will be excluded. If it is agreed to exclude it, that wouldn't weaken the state's case immeasurably. Right. Hey, Joy. Cara said, I still think we need to figure out whether or not it'll be televised. I don't think it will because it's in New York. Yeah, I don't think it is because it's 9:39. I know he was expected in court, so it's probably not going to be televised, but the presser should. Toxic said, don't forget to put your touch on the thumbs up button. Thank you. Your touch DNA on the thumbs up button. Thank you. Toxic gave me that, and she's from As the Gavel Drops Discord, and I will drop that in the description box after the video. So while we're waiting for that, I'll go back to this article and read it to you real quick. I've got that pulled up, though, so as soon as it goes live, I'll be able to put it up. Okay. Now, this is an older article, but it starts, Riverhead, New York. Suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann appeared before a judge for a status hearing Wednesday morning. Heuermann is a 61-year-old architect from Massapequa and is charged with 6 murders. He glanced once in the courtroom Wednesday. His estranged wife was not present. His hands were cuffed behind his gray suit. 4 of the victims in the case had their bodies disposed of near Gilgo Beach. Two others were murdered as far back as 2003 and 1993. Each of them had been involved in being a lady of the night. Prosecutors allege Heuermann is linked to the murders through DNA, burner phone data, a description of his truck, internet searches, and what they call a blueprint for how to get away with murder. There will be a hearing this coming spring with the defense challenging the new nuclear DNA called SMP by prosecutors, which they say links the victim's hairs to Huerman. The defense has called an outside lab's methods of genetic testing unproven and, quote, magic. Excuse me. It's a scientific issue. The judge is going to have to decide. We say absolutely not. Obviously, the district attorney has a different opinion. Defense attorney Michael Brown said. The judge set the next court date as December 17th and said he wants to set the trial date at that time. Prosecutors say they need more money because of all the paperwork. One of the things discussed was how quickly the defense can get all the raw data from Huerman's 400 seized electronic devices. With an extraordinary amount of evidence, 120 terabytes, District Attorney Ray Tierney said his funds are running low. In 2020, before he was in office, the feds froze $13 million in county forfeiture money due to an investigation into the funds. He said, so I will go to the Department of Justice once again, hat in hand, and I will beg them, please give us the money so I can litigate this very significant serial killer case, Tierney said. Given the ridiculous nature of our discovery laws, where I have to provide every single piece of paper that was generated in a case that started in 1993, that's what we have to do, okay? Tierney said the investigation into the other murders is ongoing. Tierney said the investigation into the other murders is ongoing on several different fronts. There could be future indictments as the number of victims linked to Huerman have been growing from 4 to 6. Very important for us is to sever the 5th and 6th victims in the indictment from the first 4, meaning try those separate and apart, Brown said. Huerman's attorney says his client is looking forward to his day in court and will be pursuing a change of venue. We talked about a change of venue. We're going to look into that. We have been looking into that. Whether we can get a fair and impartial jury here in Suffolk County, Brown said. Where do I hope it would be? The trial itself? Mars? I don't know. The defense claims any jury pool in Suffolk has been, quote, poisoned. Huerman remains in isolation in jail due to his notoriety. Huerman pleaded not guilty to murder charges in the death of 6 women between 1993 and 2011. The remains of 11 people were discovered around Gilgo Beach during that period, and investigators have said he may be linked to other killings. I'm going to check y'all's comments real quick. Hey, Dan. Thank you for being here. Dan says, tongue-tied tyranny. Today I'm tongue-tied, allegedly. It just refreshed, but they're still not live. So we're waiting. Toxic says, I doubt a trial will be set today. If it is, it will end up being delayed. I don't know if that's what the judge wants, and it might happen. Back to the article. Huerman was initially arrested on July 14, 2023, and charged with the murders of Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. New charges were filed in January in the death of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, and he was indicted on additional charges in June in the 1993 killing of Sandra Costilia and the 2003 killing of Jessica Taylor. Costilia was not previously tied to the Gilgo case. Last month, the Gilgo Beach Task Force released the new renderings of another possible victim whose body was found between Waterman and Taylor along Ocean Parkway in 2011. Investigators have also described a, quote, blueprint they say Huerman used to plan out his kills with excruciating detail. That's interesting. And that's all for that article. So let me pull up the live stream and see what we got going on there, and I'll see what else I can pull up. Hold on just a minute. So we're still waiting on them to go live. Their description says New York prosecutors say they plan to announce, quote, a significant update in the Gilgo Beach killings case Tuesday following Rex Huerman's court appearance. Watch live at 10. So it's 9:47. I would say we got about 10 minutes. Yeah, they say Shannon Gilbert was an accidental death, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Basil is good. He was chewing Christmas presents this morning. He opened, like, you know, the boxes that you put clothes in. Well, he chewed the whole box, and like I had to get the clothes off the floor this morning. Luckily, the person therefore doesn't know it's for them, so I was able to bring them back to my room. And I'm gonna have to rebox them and put them in a separate put it up somewhere else, which is interesting. Yeah, something was done to Shannon Gilbert. The 911 call and everything. I mean, I'm having trouble with that. Give me just a second while we look at this. I'm going to pull up something else on Rex Heuermann and play it on a different YouTube tab while I watch this and make sure that I'm ready when it goes live.
And happening in New York
This is the other one I wanted to play. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Let me pull up this video. And then I'll keep the live stream on my phone. And that way, I'll know when they go live. Actually, I got it somewhere else. Good morning, Tash. Good to see you. Willow Moss True Crime said, I grew up in Germany, and even I heard of Long Island serial killer in my childhood. I can't believe they have one caught up now. Crazy. Wow, that is crazy that you heard of that. All right, hold on. Let me make sure I have this on my phone before I change it. Gilgo Beach. Oh my goodness. I'll pull it up from the Discord. All right, I've got it on my phone and I'm watching it. Now we're going to watch a video that I wanted to show you guys. Hold on just a minute. Let me pause it and make it big. Now I've got the line.
and happening in New York this week, accused Long Island serial.
This is from News Nation, and it is titled Gilgo Beach Killings. Rex Heuermann headed back to court, warning in America. Now, I have the live stream on my phone. I am watching it and waiting for them to go live. So we're going to watch this right now.
Serial killer Rex Heuermann is expected back in court, where a possible trial date could be set. News Nation Live host and senior reporter Laura Ingle has been following this case from the very beginning. Laura, great to have you. Good morning. So what can we expect?
You know, the last time that we were in court following along with Rex Heuermann's criminal case, the judge announced he was hoping to set a trial date on December 17th. It sounded like a really long off date, but now it's this week. And that's one reason why Rex Heuermann will be back inside a Suffolk County courtroom Tuesday. That is in addition to more discovery being discussed between the prosecution and defense. So Rex Heuermann currently facing 6 murder charges in this decades-long case, which has been such a mystery for so many years. After the remains of 11 victims, most of them sex workers, were found along a stretch of highway near Jones Beach State Park on Long Island, known as Ocean Parkway, near Gilgo Beach. That's why
Tash said, thank you for covering this. Thank you for being here. Without you guys being here, I would have no reason to be here. So thank you so much for being here and watching. You guys are what makes me be able to do this. So thank you for being here. Bad girl, I hope are you at the dentist? I can't stand the dentist. I literally hyperventilate when I sit down in the chair. Tasha, being from New York, this is a case I wish would be televised. I wish it would be too. He is one big scary creep. Like, he's so tall, overpowering, scary. Good morning, Zio. It's good to see you, love. Toxic said, in Tash making the documents available too. Silly New York SMK. Yeah, they have again. I'm gonna try to pin it real quick, but they have all the documents. But I'm assuming you can't get these, which again doesn't surprise me, but it sucks.
That's why we hear Gilgo Beach killer. The identity of a suspect was a mystery, of course, until this sudden break in the case happened in July of last year when police arrested this architect nobody had heard of in Manhattan who lived in Massapequa Park on Long Island after police were able to tie evidence of his cell phone locations, burner phones, and DNA to some of the victims. Now, the first set of remains, these are skeletal remains, were found in 2010. They were known as the Gilgo 4. They were all found near each other, wrapped or covered in burlap, and it was hair that was discovered with those victims that investigators say lead back to Rex Heuermann. And another new development we could hear more on Tuesday is about the fight for funding to continue this massive investigation into the other victims. And at the last hearing, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney in a press conference revealed they have a holdup accessing millions of dollars that's being held by the Department of Justice, which is investigating the previous administration in Suffolk County. Take a listen.
I'd love to have that money and be able to use it to bring this case to a resolution. So I am going to go to the Department of Justice once again, hat in hand, and I will beg them, please give me this money so I can litigate this very significant serial killer case. And we'll see what our federal government tells me.
And we'll see if we're going to learn more inside of court this Tuesday. And with each
I couldn't access the chat section, but I did drop, as the Gavel Drops Discord is in the description box. Zayo said good morning. Dan Ciego said the ultimate monster. He is. Good morning, Abellis. I don't know if I said good morning to you. If I didn't, love, good morning. Willow Moss said, wait, this will not be a publicly viewable trial? I'm assuming not, because they haven't showed any of his court dates, but I don't know. It would be nice if it was, but I don't know. Tash said New York is the worst with courtroom transparency. Yeah. Hearing that, it makes me think that it won't be. Toxic said there's quite a few states like that. And Willow Moss said monsters do not look like monsters. They absolutely do not.
Each one of these court hearings, we never know if Rex Heuermann is going to be charged with one of the other victims in this case. There are multiple victims here with families that still to this day do not have answers, who want the person responsible for their grisly deaths held accountable. So we will see. I'm hearing rumblings that we're going to have a lot of people in the courtroom on Tuesday, and that could mean a significant development.
Laura, you have been following this case for years now. What sticks out to you most when it comes to the Heuermann case?
You know, I think one of the hard things about this case is that the victims, it was hard to get traction in the beginning because they were sex workers, the victims. But these women who were found, and there's one male, were sex workers, but they were also daughters. They were mothers. Many of them had children. In fact, one of the victims that could be tied to this case, there was a toddler that was found. That map that you're looking at right now on the eastern end, there were remains of a toddler that were found with remains of part of the mom. So it's
that part really upset me. To know that this man killed the mother, not only the mother, but the child that the mother had with her at the time. Like he's a baby killer on top of everything else. That really, I mean, as if it wasn't bad enough, right? But then to find out there was a 2-year-old little, I think it was a 2-year-old little girl that was murdered. It's makes me want to punch him in the face, among other things. Tash said, New York does not televise. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. Hey, Trixie. Tiffany said a toddler. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. It was like a 2-year-old, I do believe. Abella says, good morning. Willow says, as a mom, just know, breaks my heart, but can't leave a witness. Yeah. But I mean, a 2-year-old, what's a 2-year-old going to say? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'll be shocked if the trials are televised. My bestie dated a guy who is a court bailiff for Riverhead, Suffolk, and said they made everyone leave all electronic devices behind. So yeah, that right there tells me that it's not going to be televised. Thank you for letting me know. Tiffany said I have to get ready for work, so I won't be able to engage, but I'll be listening. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a good day at court. At work, court. I hope you don't have to go to court. I hope you have a good day at work.
Really, really heartbreaking. And to think that this was going on for as long as it was before we had answers. I mean, a hat tip to the Suffolk County District Attorney and the investigators. There's a task force that have been working very hard to bring this case to a conclusion. And we're inching there. We're getting there. But still a lot more questions on this. But it's the victims. It's really, that's the one thing that sticks out to me. And you're looking at aerial views of the home in Massapequa Park where Rex Heuermann was living a quiet life, getting on and off the railroad, going into Manhattan. It's a really nice neighborhood. We were there for all of the searches. And I think that's the scary part, Hannah, of all the serial killer cases that we've covered, is that it could really be the guy next door.
Right. You never know. Such a grisly case. Really great job covering it. I know it's not easy to cover these cases. Laura Engel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.
Okay. They got a RICO trial that's live, but that's all for right now. Let me see. I don't think I have anything that's short enough, because they're supposed to be live any minute now. I'm going to add this to that playlist. I had another one, but I don't know if I still have it or not. I'm looking. Yeah, that goes way back. All right, we got 1 minute before this is supposed to be live, so we'll watch this and talk for a second. Let me pull it back up. Is this it? No.
So it's
Hold on. There. Now I got it. Hold on just a minute. Still not live yet. It's 9:59. There it is. Okay. So they said they're supposed to go live at 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock now. Jenny said, "Thank you, Tiffany, for being here. I hope you have a beautiful day." Yes, thank you. Tash said his office is literally up the street from my office on the corner of 36th and 5th Avenue. Watched last year as they raided it. Oh, wow. That's crazy. It just got like where I can make it big, so I wanted to refresh it, I think. Abella said, his wife is interesting. Asa, I think is her name, something like that. Yeah, she's from Norway or something. That's interesting. Yeah, Tash, that had to be wild. I would love to hear what you saw and things. Hello, Villainous Cupcake. I love your name. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Tash said, never seen so many different police on the scene. FBI, New York PD, Suffolk County Sheriffs. It was nuts. That is interesting. Abella said, Tash, oh, interesting. Saw the French guy's interview in his office and the Google Earth pics of Heuermann on the sidewalk. Yes, I saw that too. So it's 10:01. I'm waiting. If they don't show anything in a second, I'll keep it on my phone and we'll watch something else. New York always runs late too with updates. Yeah. People in that chat are saying, why is it not on yet? All right, let's see. I have the how many what? Because I've got NBC Crime and News said that he's now accused of murdering 7 per the DEA, published 22 minutes ago. I don't know how I can share this. Let me see. I'll pull this up because that way I can keep it on the live stream. So hold on. This is from NBC New York. I just put the app on my phone this morning, and they've got something out from 22 minutes ago. So we'll check that real quick. And I can pull it up on my back page so that I can keep the one on YouTube up that we're watching right now. Let's watch this real quick. My kids are up, so sorry if y'all hear anything. All right, hold on just a minute, and I'll pull up what NBC News 17, or News 2, I think it is, in New York has said, while I keep that up, waiting for their update. So this is going to be from 22 minutes ago, per NBC New York. Let me make sure y'all got it. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I don't have a full list of everything, but it'll be interesting to see. Okay. So it says, after it loads all the ads, accused gilgo killer indicted in another murder, bringing victim count to 7 per the DEA. It says Rex Heuermann now stands accused of murdering 7 women since the early 1990s. He has pleaded not guilty. It was updated 12 seconds ago. So let me take this back and we'll watch this video and see what the news station there is saying. NBC News 4.
Murder is obviously horrific, and it's a difficult thing to defend. Now we're at 6.
17 years of terror on Long Island. 2 new victims added to the suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer's hit list. The chilling evidence investigators now say they've uncovered. That is where we begin tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. Disturbing.
Okay, so this was evidently last night, but there's still nothing new on the YouTube, so I've got it pulled up still.
Twist of the Gilgo Beach murders. The 60-year-old New York architect, already accused of killing 4 women, is now accused of killing 2 more.
Jessica Taylor and Sandra Costilla, the latest victims. Costilla not publicly associated with this case until now. Her murder extends the timeline of brutal Long Island killings all the way back to 1993. The last known victim of the Gilgo serial killer disappeared in 2010.
Police revealed morbid new details today of the alleged serial killer's meticulous planning, including making lists of potential problems that could trip him up and how effectively to dispose of his victims. This was Greg Sergelis live in Riverhead with all of this for us. Greg?
Chuck, Natalie, as you guys pointed out, this murder investigation has taken some turns over the last couple of months with new police searches at Rex Heuermann's home and in the woods of Manorville. Today, prosecutors revealed why those searches were ordered. It's all the result of an unexpected discovery that has changed the direction of this case. Alleged serial killer Rex Heuermann stood silently in court today as prosecutors told a judge they had discovered a chilling computer document. Suffolk's DA called it Rex Heuermann's blueprint for murder.
His intent was specifically to locate these victims, to hunt them down, and to bring them under his control and to kill them.
The DA says the actual Gilgo murders match to a large degree what's written in that document. It was found on a Heuermann laptop after prosecutors say he tried to delete it. One note there reads, "More sleep and noise control equals more playtime."
You've already made that.
Sorry, muted. He said one of the things on the computer said more sleep and control equals more playtime. This sick mother trucker. Abellis said Heuermann is apparently into some kinky stuff, which is fine between consenting adults, but don't hurt or unalive people. Right. And she said the victims were all tiny. He's an effing coward if he's the perpetrator. Oh, I think he's the perpetrator. I really do. He grosses me out too. Cara, she might have been talking about this, which again is titled there's 7 accused Gilgo killer indicted in another murder, bringing victim count to 7. I don't remember if it was 6 or 7. All right, we'll get back to this video.
That assumption that he's the one who drafted it and he's the one who created it. I don't know that.
Heuermann's lawyer must now defend his client against 6 murder charges, the so-called Gilgo 4, and 2 other women identified in court today.
Jessica, my darling daughter.
She was so pretty. So evidently he's got hit with at least 1 more, bringing it to 7. And we're still waiting on the presser. I've got it pulled up. Nothing's going on yet.
You will never be forgotten.
Lawyer Gloria Allred read a statement written by the mother of Jessica Taylor. Today, Rex Heuermann was charged with Taylor's 2003 murder and the 1993 murder of Sandra Costilla.
They were all so beautiful.
A woman not previously linked to the Gilgo case. Prosecutors say strands of hair found with the bodies of each new victim have been tied to Heuermann through multiple DNA tests.
I can't express what this day means after waiting and hoping for answers.
Suffolk's DA said again today Rex Heuermann acted alone, and he confirmed that items taken from Heuermann's home last month are now being tested to determine if the murders were carried out there while Heuermann's family was away.
The investigation continues. The investigation has been expanded both to...
So evidently it's kind of etched in stone that the family was away, which I wondered if they could prove for a fact that the family was away when he committed these crimes. So evidently they strongly believe they were.
The bodies that were found on Gilgo and beyond.
The DA also said today that Rex Heuermann is now a suspect in the murder of another Gilgo victim, Valerie Mack. Late today, the lawyer for Heuermann's estranged wife released a statement saying that Asa Ellerup continues to doubt that her husband is capable of these heinous acts. Heuermann will be back in court in July. We're in Riverhead. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Okay, so they said they're going to be back in court in July.
We ready? I need to get me a new phone.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to try to replay that.
Busted up phone, you can get you a brand new iPhone 6.
So it was published 34 minutes ago. They're saying there's another charge and that he'll be back in court in July. So I'm thinking this is the update. I don't know. We'll watch it one more time. Again, I'm still waiting on News Nation to go live with the presser, so they're not doing anything. So I think this is one of the updates. Abella said I think he is too. I'm just waiting on that to load real quick so that we can watch it again. Abella said, yeah, the wife was out of town, also in Iceland during the murders. Yeah, I didn't know if they knew that for a fact or not yet. It seems they do. All right, now. Don't make me pull it up again. Hold on just a minute. All right, I got it pulled up. Oh, dang it. Hold on. My internet's being slow this morning. Still watching News Nation, nothing new. So let's watch this again because it said the next court date is in July, and there's now 7 people. All right. I'm going to watch this one more time because they did release some information that we did not have.
Murder is obviously horrific, and it's a difficult thing to defend. Now we're at 6.
17 years of terror on Long Island. 2 new victims added to the suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer's hit list. The chilling evidence investigators now say they've uncovered. That is where we begin tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pascarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. Disturbing and shocking new twists in the Gilgo Beach murders. The 60-year-old New York architect, already accused of killing 4 women, is now accused of killing 2 more.
Jessica Taylor and Sandra Costilla, the latest victims. Costilla not publicly associated with this case until now. Her murder extends the timeline.
So Sandra Costilla is the new victim, I think.
Of brutal Long Island killings all the way back to 1993. The last known victim of the Gilgo serial killer disappeared in 2010.
Police revealed morbid new details today of the alleged serial killer's meticulous planning, including making lists of potential problems that could trip him up and how effectively.
So that says, dispose of the following: tools and devices, T1, clothes and personal items, drop clothes, something and towels, props, toys, wood items, anything that touched T1, what you wore, destroy book and computer files, burn gloves, dispose of box of plastic bags to avoid trace.
To dispose of his victims. This was Greg Sergelis live in Riverhead with all of this for us. Greg?
Chuck, Natalie, as you guys pointed out, this murder investigation has taken some turns over the last couple of months with new police searches at Rex Heuermann's home and in the woods of Manorville. Today, prosecutors revealed why those searches were ordered. It's all the result of an unexpected discovery that has changed the direction of this case. Alleged serial killer Rex Heuermann stood silently in court today as prosecutors told a judge they had discovered a chilling computer document. Suffolk's DA called it Rex Heuermann's blueprint for murder.
His intent was specifically to locate these victims, to hunt them down, and to bring them under his control and to kill them.
The DA says the actual Gilgo murders match to a large degree what's written in that document. It was found on a Heuermann laptop after prosecutors say he tried to delete it. One note there reads, "More sleep and noise control equals more playtime."
You've already made that assumption that he's the one who drafted it and he's the one who created it. I don't know that.
Heuermann's lawyer must now defend his client against 6 murder charges, the so-called Gilgo 4, and 2 other women identified in court today.
Jessica, my darling daughter, you will never be forgotten.
Lawyer Gloria Allred read a statement written by the mother of Jessica Taylor. Today, Rex Heuermann was charged with Taylor's 2003 murder and the 1993 murder of Sandra Costilla, a woman not previously linked to the Gilgo case. Prosecutors say...
I wonder who that is and if we can find out any information on her. Yeah, Willow said, I would love to find and read those documents. I need to look for them. Bad Girl said, my other comment went up before I could grab it. So Shannon was having a psychotic episode that night. So sad. That's what they say, but I think she was murdered. If I, putting my thoughts out there. It was an episode brought on by substances, yeah. But I think there was more to that. I really do. I don't think that it was just that, because she's experienced in that lifestyle. She was probably on substances for quite a while. I don't believe she just flipped out. She probably had a high tolerance, and something probably really did happen to her, in my opinion. And I think he needs to be charged with that too.
Say strands of hair found with the bodies of each new victim have been tied to Heuermann through multiple DNA tests.
I can't express what this day means after waiting and hoping for answers.
Suffolk's DA said again today Rex Heuermann acted alone, and he confirmed that items taken from Heuermann's home last month are now being tested to determine if the murders were carried out there while Heuermann's family was away.
The investigation continues. The investigation has been expanded both to the bodies that were found on Gilgo and beyond.
The DA also said today that Rex Heuermann is now a suspect in the murder of another Gilgo victim, Valerie Mack. Late today, the lawyer for Heuermann's estranged wife released
Valerie Mack
a statement saying that Asa Ellerup continues to doubt that her husband is capable of these heinous acts. Heuermann will be back in court in July.
Okay, so Valerie Mack might be the new victim, and the court date might be in July. That might be the update. Oh, really, Cara? So I'm thinking Valerie Mack and court date in July, from what I'm hearing.
We're in Riverhead. Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
Okay, Valerie Mack and court date in July, from what I'm hearing.
I had a life-threatening brain
minute.
bleed. Only the George Washington University Hospital had the exact treatment and level of care that I needed.
GW Hospital provides.
Okay, it says what to know. Rex Heuermann, 60, was first arrested in July 2023 in the deaths of 3 of the 4 women whose remains were found in burlap sacks along a remote stretch of Gilgo Beach Ocean Parkway in 2010. The 4th murder was added in a superseding indictment in January. The architect from New York City pleaded not guilty in their cases. Other sets of remains were found amid that investigation. In June, he was charged with murdering one of those women, Jessica Taylor, and a previously unknown victim, Sandra Costello, whose case dates back to 1993. Heuermann pleaded not guilty to the June charges against him. A planning document for his alleged kills was seized at his home during a recent search, according to the bail application. The New York architect arrested last year in connection with a string of cold case bodies found on Long Island's Gilgo Beach has been charged with another murder, bringing the count against him thus far to 7, the district attorney said ahead of an announcement Tuesday. So it is 7 now. Rex Heuermann is accused of murdering Valerie Mack, an escort who vanished in 2000, and in whose death he has been considered a suspect, the district attorney said. Prosecutors said DNA evidence secured the forensic link. That analysis of hair found with Mack's remains has been linked to Heuermann's wife and daughter. Mack, 24, had been working as an escort in Philadelphia and was last seen by her family in New Jersey the year she disappeared. According to prosecutors, Heuermann's so-called planning document. Oh, I might be able to pull it up. All right, I'll give that a second to load and see if it shows it. Recovered from a personal computer during a search over the summer references the dumping site where parts of Mack's body were found. Prosecutors say their searches of Heuermann's home also yielded varied magazines and news accounts of the Long Island serial killer, allegedly serving as, quote, souvenirs or mementos of his alleged crimes. Prosecutors have also been looking into the death of Karen Vergata, whose remains were first discovered in 1996. I wanted to make sure real quick I wasn't muted. I'll read y'all's comments in just a second. And finally identified in 2022 after a new DNA analysis. There was no immediate update Tuesday on her case. Huerman, 60, was first arrested in July 2023 in the deaths of three of the so-called Gilgo 4, whose remains were found in burlap sacks along a remote stretch of Ocean Parkway in 2010. He was later charged with the fourth. So we'll see. It's got a news clip. I don't know if it's the same one we watched, but we'll see what it says real quick. Okay. So, let's see. Abellas said he can plead not guilty all he wants. All the stuff they found at his place points straight to him. Yep. Toxic said in New York in 2000, about 50 miles or 80 kilometers east of where more of her remains were discovered on Gilgo Beach more than 10 years later, they were unidentified until genetic testing revealed her identity in 2020. Valerie Mack was dismembered, said Trixie. Oh, wow. Oh, you sent me her photo. Okay, I'll pull that up while we watch that. Hey, Sarah, thank you for being here. Okay, so we'll watch this and I'll pull up that picture. You see the title? It says, among decades-old torture corn, Rex Huerman allegedly kept Word document of murder plans. Read the bail application. So we'll see what the news says about it while we're still waiting for them to go live. Oh, it might be the one we already watched.
17 years of terror on Long Island. 2 new victims added to the suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer's hit list. The chilling evidence investigators now say they've uncovered. That is where we begin tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Natalie Pasquarella.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough. Disturbing and shocking new twist in the Gilgo Beach murders. The 60-year-old New York architect, already accused of killing 4 women, is now accused of killing 2 more.
Jessica Taylor and Sandra Costilla, the latest victims. Costilla not publicly associated with this case until now. Her murder extends the timeline of brutal Long Island killings all the way back to 1993.
Trixie, I don't see it. Where did you drop it at, love? Cara said, well, Baby Doe, Cherries, Peaches, Asian Male Doe, and Jane Doe number 7 is the list. Hey, Lindsay. Thank you for being here. Good morning, y'all. Great news that I wasn't expecting this morning. Well, I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. I love when that happens.
The last known victim of the Gilgo serial killer disappeared in 2010.
Police revealed morbid new details today of the alleged serial killer's meticulous planning, including making lists of potential problems that could trip him up and how effectively to dispose of his victims. This was Greg Sergelis live in Riverhead with all of this for us. Greg?
Chuck, Natalie, as you guys pointed out, this murder investigation has taken some turns over the last couple of months with new police searches at Rex Huerman's home and in the woods of Manorville. Today, prosecutors revealed why those searches were ordered. It's all the result of an unexpected discovery that has changed the direction of this case. Alleged serial killer Rex Huerman stood silently in court today as prosecutors told a judge they had discovered a chilling computer document. Suffolk's DA called it Rex Huerman's blueprint for murder.
His intent was specifically to locate these victims, to hunt them down, and to bring them under his control and to kill them.
The DA says the actual Gilgo murders match to a large degree what's written in that document. It was found on a Huerman laptop after...
I think this is the same one. I was just trying to see if they would show more of the document.
Prosecutors say he tried to delete it. One note there reads, more sleep and noise control equals more playtime.
You've already made that assumption that he's the one who drafted it and he's the one who created it. I don't know that.
Huerman's lawyer must now defend his client against 6 murder charges, the so-called Gilgo 4, and 2 other women identified in court today.
Jessica, my darling daughter, you will never.
So that's the one we saw a minute ago. Let me show you this picture of Valerie Mack. and there's been some information dropped on that. So this is a new one, or new to me. Hold on a minute. Thank you, Trixie, for sending me this picture. This is Valerie Mack, one that he's been charged with. Trixie said, the nude, dismembered torso of her body was discovered in Manorville, New York on November 19th, 2000. Around 11 years later, on April 4th, 2011, her head, hands, and right foot were found in a plastic bag in the vicinity of Ocean Parkway on Gilgo Beach. No personal items, jewelry, or clothing were found with the partially recovered remains. Lindsay said, and it's speculated that he was trying to, quote, copycat another serial killer in that area. The name escapes me, but it is in a court document that Rex had Googled that man along with other details. I need to try to pull up this document to see if I can find it. Not a fan of Gloria Allred. So that's Valerie Mack. I think that's the new one that he's being charged with. They're still not live. Let me show you what's going on there real quick, and I'll pull something else. So that's still what's going on there. And I've got it up on my phone. Let me see. We'll watch this real quick. Gilgo Beach killings. Woman says she partied with Rex Heuermann. That's interesting. I'm going to work on trying to see what I can pull real quick as far as documents.
If you don't know by now, Rex Heuermann is the hulking 6'4".
I'm going to see what I can pull real quick as far as documents and updates. Thank you, Sarah, for dropping the Discord. Cara said, we have 2 active serial killers on Long Island during that time. The Gilgo and the Craigslist killer. Oh, wow. That's scary.
Or 240-pound architect suspected of being the Long Island serial killer. The man with the nauseating porn search history who is charged with murdering and dumping at least 4 women. He's got a wife and 2 adult kids who also all lived inside that rundown home. So what is it like inside there? What might have happened in there? Lorraine Paulino was in that home. She says she partied with Rex and his wife and saw things that she now wishes she could change. And she is here with a Banfield exclusive. Lorraine, thank you so much for being here tonight. I so appreciate it. Can you just briefly summarize what were the circumstances that brought you inside that home?
Oh, we went to the home, me and my boyfriend, who was a police officer. We went to party with them. And we took a young lady with us to the party. So that's what it was about. It was a party.
And when you were inside in that home partying, did you come upon his wife, Asa Ellerup, or either of his adult kids, or who all was in there?
I met her. We met her when we came in. And then I sat with the guys in like a living room area. And she left when we went to the bedroom. So when we were finished, I asked her, where were you? You never came to the bedroom. I said,
This is going back to those swinger parties. I've got it pulled up on Fox Channel 5 New York. They're still waiting too. So I'm going to pull that up as soon as we're done. Lindsay said he was suspected to be Long Island serial killer at some point too. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. It's supposed to start at 11 now. Okay. Thank you.
Were you afraid of me or something? And she said, no, I'm not really into this. But, I'm glad you had fun. I said, thanks. I said, but tell me more about yourself. And then she told me, oh, I'm a foreigner too. That's what she said. He brought me here from my country. And I said, wow. I said to her, she said, I feel happy he's rich. So I said to her, why don't we go shopping tomorrow?
It sounds like that you were there, and I don't want to sugarcoat it. It was a long time ago, but it was a swingers sex party. There were all sorts of other people there as well. Did you get a good look at Rex Heuermann, and did you witness him in any kind of behavior? Did you see him engage in any sex during that party?
It wasn't a lot of people. It was me and my boyfriend and Rex and Karen and his wife and Isa. That was it. He smirks a lot.
So it's definitely the 7th victim, and I'm gonna pull it up. Another article I found on that sounds a bit loopy. Yeah, she does. Joy said there are other victims. Hey Zan, thank you for being here. So yeah, we're just waiting on the presser. They're saying it might be in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I meant. She does sound off. I'm questioning her account.
That I noticed. He really does smirk a lot. He rarely laughs, but he smirks a lot.
Did you notice him engaging? And when you said Karen, I should just tell our viewers, I think you mean Karen Vergata. She was a murder victim known as Jane Doe number 7.
Yes.
And if I know your story correctly, Lorraine, when you were leaving with your boyfriend, you looked up in the window and you saw Karen Vergata, someone you believe is Karen Vergata, the woman you brought to the party who was staying behind. You saw her up in the window, and you said you looked into her eyes and thought she looked frightened.
Lindsay, yeah. Lindsay says sounds very loopy. I can't tell if she has an accent or hearing troubles or what exactly. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Pinto. Thank you for being here. And then Willow Moss True Crime said, wait till they upload his DNA and CODIS after the trial. Ooh. Yeah, I think she's definitely over-medicated toxic.
She looks scared. So I told him, I said, you said you spoke to her and she wants to stay because she's sleepy and hungry. He said, yes, she wants to stay. I said, okay, so why is she running outside? Now she's running outside. And he said, oh, you just watching everything. They're probably playing a game. Let's go home. And we left her there. And that's why I'm doing this, because I feel some sense of responsibility because we left her.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Hey, Mellows. Mellows arrest warrant says, good morning. I can't imagine anyone who's willing to have relations with this creep. I can't either. Let me show y'all where I've got it pulled up on Fox. I've got it in my playlist, and I'm watching it on my phone to see them go live. This is going to be from Fox, so it's a news station in that area. And both of them were just waiting. Let me see. This one says it's live now. This is the first one I had. Oh, there we go. All right. So we're waiting. Okay. Trixie said, oh, for sure there have to be other victims in other areas. No way this is the first place he chose to put victims. No, I don't think so. I think he's been doing it for years. Willow Moss True Crime said, I don't fully believe her. I don't either. It's hard to believe her. And not, I believe victims of any crime, but it's hard to believe her when she comes on stage like that, you know? I don't know. It's a little off-putting, to be nice. Basil is, I think he's in the kitchen eating. Trixie said, so if they left her in Rex's home after a Smex party and Rex's wife was there, she had to have known something. I think she knew more than what she claimed she did, for sure. Willow said, I believe his wife was the one at least helping with cleanup after. There's no way. I don't know. I mean, is it possible she might not have known? Yeah, but it seems more likely that she knew to me. My Fox one is live now. Hold on. Yeah. So we're waiting on that. I'll read an article to you, but I'll leave that up so you can see it. It says, alleged Gilgo Beach killer Rex Heuermann charged with 7th murder. So I do believe it's the murder of Valerie that we just pulled up. While we're waiting for that to go. I know you can't see the article, but I was trying to leave it on that so you could see that. And the brief says, suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann was charged with a 7th murder in the killing of Valerie Mack. The partial skeletal remains of Mack were found in a wooded area in Manorville back in September 2000. Heuermann was arraigned in Suffolk County Court on a superseding indictment, adding a new charge of second-degree murder. And then it says, suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann was charged with a 7th murder on Tuesday morning in the killing of Valerie Mack. So, it's definitely, that's the first update, is that it's going to be the killing of Valerie Mack. Lindsay said, aren't there some ladies who were found in a field in Atlantic City? I remember diving into that case a bit after Rex was arrested, but some said possibly not because it was a different method. Yeah, there's been some there. I think South Carolina too, because his brother lived in South Carolina. Yeah. Toxic said, I've always found it strange. She says she never knew women were coming into the house. I don't think that she never knew women were coming in the house. Unless he was doing it while she was always away. And that's what's being said, that he did it when she was gone to Iceland and stuff. But, like, how do you clean up and your wife not know anything at all whatsoever? But here he is all of a sudden dismembering, apparently. So anything is possible. Yeah, that's a different motive and way that bodies were found. So he probably switched it up as to not get caught. Yes, thank you for feeding Basil, Abellis. I appreciate it. Tash, sorry, said, I believe the swinger parties were separate from the unalivings. I think they were called to meet him in most cases. Yes, they were. The swinger parties were different. The people he unalived, I think he would get on Craigslist or other apps like that and have them meet him somewhere. Yeah, I got my coffee. People talk and neighbors do see things. You'd be surprised what people in the neighborhood know. Especially you got that one nosy neighbor that's always looking out the window. That's who you need to talk to. That's who you need to be friends with. You'll get the scoop real quick. Willow Moss True Crime said, I swear I noticed a towel being washed wrong, etc. How did she not see anything? Things having changed, meaning the wife. Yeah, it's a good question. I think she said that there was an area downstairs that he kept locked and nobody was allowed to go in. I could be confusing that with a different case, but I think it was this one, which I found weird. But, like, I don't know. You got to remember that she's from Iceland too. Like, I don't know how things are done in Iceland, like I would assume it's very like, okay, if it's male dominated and then your husband tells you not to go in the basement and you are subservient to him, then you're not going to go in the basement. Um, so that's my question with that. Like, for culture and things like that would come into play, I think, because that would tell us if she would stand up against them and be like, no, I'm going in that basement, or if it's a more male led society, masculine, and she would be like, yeah, I'm going in the basement. Or he would be like, when he said no, not to go in the basement, she would be like, yeah, I'm going in the basement anyway. Oh, Tosh. Okay, thank you.
I think it would be teams. Like they'll set up a bureau.
Willow Moss True Crime said, as someone with a hanging out in the window, knowing everyone's business grandma, I agree. They need to find that neighbor. They do. Lindsay said, good point. I forgot about that. Yep, Toxic said he had a sex room, so it was locked. Yep. Thank you. Tosh said, what's strange is they really found no evidence in his home. Don't think it happened in the home. I wonder where it could have happened then, though. Like, especially with the dismembering of bodies. I mean, he could have done like the torturing and things in the sex room, but where did he get rid of, like, the one Valerie Mack was cut up? Where did he do that? He's lived in that home all his life. Willow Moss True Crime said Dexter style cheating, or maybe a storage locker. Possible. All right, they're bringing the press in. Lindsay said they've been finding some things apparently, because this is what, the third added charge? I think so. Yep. Sir, why are you so grinning ear to ear? I don't think this is a time to be happy. Tosh said, here we go. Kara said, please say you found more identities of all the does. I hope so. It is a bit strange, unless they're happy that their family members were identified and they're finally going to get justice, is what I'm hoping. Yep, that's the mother. That's going to be the mother of one of the victims. I think they're going to announce Valerie Mack has been added, and some other updates. Abella said, Jenny, oh, right, we're neighbors. I forget that everyone is. Yeah. I don't know, Willow Moss True Crime, why they're all so happy. Hopefully it's because new charges. Alrighty. I'm going to be quiet now. Joy said that's the mom. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming, and good morning. As we all know by now, today my office filed a superseding indictment charging the defendant Yurman with a seventh charged murder in the second degree for the murder of Valerie Mack, which occurred in 2000. I remind everyone that all of these cases and all of these murders are just allegations, and we look forward to proving them in court. As I've previously stated, the work of the Gilgo Task Force is ongoing and continuing. And when I said that, I meant what I said. The defendant is now charged with the murder of 7 young women: Sandra Castillo from 1993, Valerie Mack from 2000, Jessica Taylor from 2003, Maureen Brainerd Barnes from 2007, Melissa Bartholomew from 2009, Megan Waterman from 2010 in June, and Amber Costello from September of 2010. Again, they occurred between 1993 and 2010. We are here because the gilgo task force has continued to work together to obtain not only evidence for the charged crimes, but has continued to work on other uncharged crimes as well. And I am grateful for the great work that the gilgo task force has done. Of course, not only my office and my team, but the other agencies who have worked with us. And we're gonna talk about that in a while. As you've also probably noticed, we here with us today are the victims' family members. I think pretty much every charged victim, their family members are here. Specifically, we're joined by Joanne and Edwin Mack, who are the parents of Valerie Mack. Through the grand jury process, we get to learn a little bit about our victims, and we did that through the Mack family. And Valerie is very similar to the other victims in this case, extraordinary person. The family are extraordinary people, and we are honored to prosecute this case for Valerie and her family, or on behalf of Valerie and her family. And again, I think the Mack family is emblematic of the other families in this case who have steadfastly stood by their loved ones and jealously guarded their memories. And we have nothing but respect and admiration for those victims' families. We also, speaking of gratitude, I want to mention our task force partners, some of whom I haven't mentioned here before, but of course we have our great sheriffs, Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Errol Toulon Jr. I know undersheriffs, I spoke with undersheriffs Steve Kios and Keith Taylor. They're here to support us, and as well as the task force. Our Suffolk County Police Department, we have Acting Commissioner Rob Waring, who I spoke to, and I saw Deputy Police Commissioners Kevin Catalina and Daryl Simmons. So I know, among others, we have this homicide squad led by Kevin Byer, as well as Sergeant Stephen Geyer. Inspector Sean Barron from the Suffolk County PD is with us here today. I want to thank the Suffolk County PD, both the agency as well as the Homicide Bureau, for their work on this and many other cases. We have the New York State Police, Major Stephen Udis, Captain Ken Gine, and his team, who've been instrumental in the task force and the great work that they've done. And I want to thank them. We have FBI Supervisory Special Agent Don Osbacher's here. Special Agent Craig Mattel, I believe, is here. But the FBI has been and continues to be tremendous help in this case, and we certainly want to thank them going forward. And we really appreciate the work that they've done and the work that they continue to do for us. United States Secret Service, I don't know if they're here, but they've been assisting with a lot of the electronic devices, so we want to certainly thank them as well. New York City OCME, somehow I neglected to thank them through all of the various superseding indictments. Specifically, I want to thank their anthropology unit and their forensic biology department. They were working here in Suffolk during the commission of many of these crimes, and so they've come back to Suffolk to assist us in our investigation and prosecution of these cases, and they've done a tremendous job, and we certainly want to thank them, as well as our medical examiner's office in Suffolk County, led by Odette Hall. Dr. Hall has been tremendous in this case. Of course, our own Suffolk County Crime Lab with Director Constance Dinkle and her team. They have, again, like all of these partners, not only do they help us with the gilgo cases, they help us with so many more cases, and we certainly thank them. I want to thank my own team, led by Chief Investigator Rich Zacharis, the ADAs who I've worked with, who are doing a tremendous job, and everyone. Our team, we have an army of people from my office who is really doing a great job, and we want to thank them. A case of this magnitude, takes the assistance of so many different moving parts, and we certainly thank all of the folks who people don't even know about, who have really helped us significantly. It's more than it's just a literal army of people, so we certainly appreciate that. As we said, we are not limiting this investigation to Gilgo Beach. We've moved off of the beach. I think that if you had asked me when we started this, could we potentially get to the place where we are now? I think that we thought that this was a possibility, and we're just very happy that we're here. So we're going to continue to work these cases. We're going to continue to prepare these cases for trial. Regarding the murder of Valerie Mack, most of it is in the discovery letter, so I'm not going to repeat. Suffice to say that Valerie's body was discovered on November 19th, 2000, in a wooded area off of Mill Road by hunters. From there, we worked the case. According to the bail document, as you see, the evidence is we have mitochondrial DNA from a hair that was found on the body of Valerie Mack, which was a portion of the body of Valerie Mack, which was found off of Mill Road. That hair, mitochondrial DNA analysis was performed, and that hair was consistent with the mitochondrial DNA profiles of both Asa Ehrman and her daughter, Asa Ellerup, and her daughter, Victoria Ehrman. And I believe the numbers are to an exclusion of 99.96% of the population. Similar to the other cases, we then sent that hair out for nuclear DNA analysis, and because it's nuclear DNA, it's much more discriminating, and the profile came back. The most conservative estimate was 1.31 times 10 to the 356th power. So again, you take that 1.31, you move the decimal point over 356 times, and that's the number that you get, which excludes that percentage of the population, but includes, in this case, it was, I believe it was Victoria Ehrman again.
Willow, I'm trying to find the documents, but I've heard that nobody's got them yet. I don't know. I'm looking. What? Why?
In the bail letter, we've placed some other evidence with regard to the planning document. Specifically, if you recall, the HK document, which we've referred to as the planning document, we see that one of the dump sites which were discussed in that document was Mill Road, which was the road that Valerie was found in the vicinity of. We also have seen during our searches a number of articles with regard to the Gilgo Beach investigation in various publications like People. There was a New York Times Magazine article about the Gilgo investigation, which was found in the defendant's safe, as well as other news articles in which the discovery of the bodies of Sandra, Jessica, and Valerie are found. And those newspapers were retained by the defendant, as well as information when Valerie was identified, when she was positive, when she went from being, I believe she was Jane Doe number 6, and then through the work of the FBI, we were able to establish that it was Valerie, that the body was Valerie's. There was internet searches done from devices controlled by the defendant at or around the time that she was first identified.
I've got something, so we'll read it. I think it's the bail document. We will read it after this. I've mailed it to myself, and pictures of Valerie.
So that's the evidence in this case. Again, it's just that. It's evidence, it's allegations, and we look forward to proving them at court. But I'll turn it over for questions now. We spoke to the Mack family. I don't believe that they want to give a statement at this time. I can tell you that I had the opportunity to speak. They are very grateful. They are very grateful for the small bit of closure that the task force has been able to provide, and it was very interesting to us. And well, I'll step back. They're thankful for all the investigators stemming right back from the very origins of the case and the diligent work that was done in this case, and they're grateful for that. And I had the opportunity to share with the Mack family the reactions of some of the older investigators when we reached out to them and told them that we had gotten some traction in the case. The excitement on those, the palpable excitement that we got from those investigators, made it obvious to us that the lives of these women matter. And we as investigators, we understand that. Obviously, no one understands it more than the families. So again, we're just delighted and honored and privileged to be able to work with these families. And again, there's not so much we can do, but at least we provide them with a small measure of closure.
So your bail application, the evidence and the allegations you mentioned, things that are found either in the home or his office. I wasn't sure if that was the Manhattan office, but you talked also about the newspaper articles. There was evidence of a plumber being called to the home. Could you go over any of that?
Yeah. So again, if you look at the planning document, it's discussed of foam, drain foaming cleaner, and issues with regard to that. And at around the time of the commission of this crime, there was a plumber did go to the Uterman residence.
So you're thinking that some of the murders could have taken place in the home?
Well, I mean, obviously, we don't have to specifically prove where they happen. We just we have other elements that we need to prove. But I think if you look at this case, if you look at the planning document, if you look at the adhesive staining on the walls and the sort of enclosed pattern, certainly all of that is consistent with the commission of those murders occurring at the home.
Peach's toddler daughter was found very close on Ocean Parkway to Valerie Mack. Would that lead you to believe that Rex Norman could be responsible for the murder of the toddler and Peaches?
Doesn't matter what I believe. As I say, matters what I can prove. And what we've done, and to the extent we've been able to have success, is you take each one of these cases, you take each one of the location of the bodies, and you use that as a separate investigation and a separate crime scene until you're specifically given clues which allow you to put them together. So until we're able to do that, we won't speak on that, and we speak through indictments.
Well, a quick follow-up. Rex Norman loudly proclaimed in court that he's not guilty of any of these charges, just legal.
Listen, that's the process, and right now he's absolutely right. These are allegations, and it's our obligation to prove them. So we're going to be held to our burden. We're going to be held to our task, and we look forward to doing that.
Can you comment on whether or not there's any evidence that Asa Ellerup was out of town when Valerie Mack disappeared?
It's not included in the bail letter, so we're not going to discuss that.
That's been consistent throughout.
With regard to the other, we've been able to establish that, but it was not included in this bail application. And the thing is, we're precluded oftentimes about talking about things that have not been publicly disclosed or disclosed in court. So, all of the bail letters, that is, the evidence that which has been disclosed. Obviously, we have other evidence in this case. I don't believe we have any specific evidence with regard to the family's whereabouts.
Throughout this case, the defense has raised questions about whether the DNA evidence is enough. I mean, can you talk about why you felt it was enough to charge him with this murder?
Well, fortunately for us, we're not going to have to come to the question of whether or not it's just the DNA evidence is enough, because it's our position we have a lot of other evidence. And if you could go through all the bail documents to see a portion of that evidence, obviously not all of that evidence, because we have other evidence. As the judge said in court today, this is cutting edge DNA, the SNP, single nucleotide polymorphisms. That technology, which we're using in this way in New York State, it has been used in other places in the country a handful of times, but it has never been used in New York State. So whenever that happens, there'll be a challenge. There'll be a hearing called a Fry hearing, which the judge has set down, and the defense will make their arguments. We'll make our arguments. I anticipate having a hearing on that issue before the judge, and then it's up to the judge to provide the decision as whether or not the technology used in this case is scientifically accepted, and whether or not it'll be admissible in this case. So that's upcoming litigation.
The Fry, I'm Kevin Sheehan, New York. Hi. The Fry hearing you just mentioned, that's coming up in January. Will there be any motions on the part of the defense to break up these cases into like a number of cases as far as victims?
Well, I think the judge indicated on the record that he wanted a Fry DNA hearing motion filed by the defense by January, I believe. And then he also said at the very least, and then he mentioned the severance motion. So I think that whether or not the defense decides they want to sever the case, that motion, we would anticipate it coming, if not in January, then soon thereafter. Yes.
How again do you guys view those newspaper and magazine clippings?
Well, I mean, again, what we've done with this case, what we've done with the phone records, the financial records, the DNA, the internet searches, and the various things that he has kept since going all the way back to 1993, it's evincing his intent. It's evincing, his interest in the case. So we think that it's, circumstantial evidence of his, that persistent interest in the case, the victims, the methods being used to, starting back in 2010, all the methods used by law enforcement to try to catch the murderer of some of the individuals on Gilgo. All of those things evince a certain mental state and intent. So we think when taken with all the evidence, it paints a certain picture. Again, the picture will need to prove at trial.
You just mentioned the evidence, the tape patterns on the ceiling, for the tarps and stuff in the home. Were those all? I know those were in different areas, but were they all in the basement?
Yeah.
They were all in that.
And if you look at the planning document, he's talking about push pins, because and there's when I say he, I mean the document mentions push pins, and then and that the tape is no good. Presumably because it creates an adhesive stain on the walls.
That's all in the basement.
It's all in the basement.
And that was also kept as souvenirs. I mean, are you thinking that the newspapers and magazines were also mementos for him to feeling good about himself?
I scored a touchdown in high school. Still have that article. Just one.
Do you have that with you?
That he had visited the gilgo site.
I'm sorry.
In the papers today, it said that he had visited the gilgo site.
Yes. At around significant times in the investigation.
So is there a number of times that he visited the site? Timing was along with Mac's findings.
Yeah, I believe it was the identification of Valerie Mack as the victim.
Was there other times after the?
I believe there was. I don't specifically have that information for you. We can get that for you though.
Do you have any anticipation when this is finally going to go to trial, or you can sort of leave it like this while you investigate numerous other murders?
No, I'm not content at all. And it doesn't really matter whether I'm content or not. It matters whether the judge is content. And I can tell you the judge is less than content, and that's his job. This is a very active and aggressive judge. that tries many cases throughout the year, and he's eager to try this case. So he's doing his job, and he's pushing us. He's pushing the defense. He's pushing us. Obviously, now when you're talking about separate murders going back from 1993, you have missing persons reports from other outside jurisdictions in New York, outside jurisdictions from the state. All of that, we have tips, all of that, we have forensic material and evidence. All of that has to be provided to the defense, which we're working through. So it is a difficult task. I would say that the judge understands that, but he's also pushing us, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and comply with the judge and get ready. The first step, it sounds like the first step is going to be the Fry hearing. So we have a lot of work to do with that. That's going to, presumably they will have experts. We're going to have experts, and we'll have that hearing. Well, I mean, I think the judge said late February, or if not late February, perhaps early March of the ensuing year. Yeah. This is the most unique case that I think I've ever done, and we go all the way back to its origins, and we talk about the uniqueness of this case, where we took a cold case, we developed a suspect, and then we were off and running, and then you had this tension between putting your case together for the grand jury, maintaining the secrecy of the case, pre-indictment, and then also providing for public safety, and then the tension between all that resulted in the case coming down in July. Well, now we have this tension where we have to prepare what we've charged for trial, but we also have to continue to investigate all. And again, we have a cold case unit, that we're working with the Suffolk County PD, state troopers, federal partners, Suffolk County sheriffs. So we're working on those cold cases. So the business of Suffolk County law enforcement cannot stop with this case. So there's always that tension. We've got to provide this case, for trial. This judge will not take any excuses, so we've got to do that. But we've got an obligation to continue to investigate these cases and provide closure to as many families as we can. And that's whether or not these result in additional charges for anyone. And obviously we don't know that until we charge. But that the answer to that question unfortunately changes on a daily basis depending upon the evidence we receive and the input we receive. Yeah, he says that he wants again. He was a defense attorney for a long time. He was a prosecutor for a long time. He's a judge for a long time. He's done a lot of these cases from every conceivable vantage point. So he understands, but by the same token, he's pushing us. So, that's, we have to, first and foremost, we have to comply with the court, which we intend to do.
What is the status of the funds that you had said were tied up?
Still tied up.
And what about other victims, Karen Brigada and the other, unsolved murders?
Yeah, I mean, again, we started the cold case unit. We have a number of cases. Karen Brigada is one of those victims. So we'll continue to work those cases. But as we've been saying, those cases, those bodies, they're separate investigations, separate crime scenes until we can speak through an indictment otherwise, whether they're related or not.
Are you hindered in any way because you don't have the money yet?
I mean, I think to a certain extent, law enforcement, everybody in life is hindered because you never have enough resources. But, I think we're managing very well. It would be nice to have that money, but we have great partners. We have our Suffolk County executive, our Suffolk County legislature is very sympathetic to what we're doing. So, it would be great to have that money, but it's not like, if something needs to be done, it gets done. the big difference, I think, is it's just, as far as it's not, rocket science providing all of this digital evidence, but it is important and it's specific work. And the more hands you have on it, the quicker it'll get done. And having that federal money would be very helpful in that regard.
Yeah, I just wanted to give others an option to speak if they want to. I know Valerie and Matt's family are not.
I think Ms. Allred is going to be having a press conference after me. So I believe she represents most of the victims in this case. So I'll leave that to her and to them.
So in your bail application, one of the articles, it indicated that it was found in the basement vault. Can you clarify, is that like a vault where, is it the entire thing? Is this where you found the tape and the push pins? Like, can you
No, that's
elaborate on the vault?
yeah. The vault is just where the gun vault.
Okay, so that's
So
where
it was behind it was locked.
So in addition to the guns, there were other
There
things
was
you locked in there.
that specific document, among other things.
So it's in the gun vault in a safe inside the gun vault?
Well, it was inside the gun vault.
But not locked in the safe inside.
Well, the gun vault, in effect, is a giant safe. Yes.
You said that the evidence is leading you to believe that murders could have taken place in the basement, the piece of tape stains, and the reference to push pins. Is it your belief that most of the murders might have taken place there and he was comfortable in that environment and it wouldn't have happened elsewhere?
I'm sorry, it's so hard to hear. That's
Again,
not me.
Belief and you look at the HK document and you look at the HK document evinces two things. Clearly, it evinces intent, most obviously, but it also evinces careful and meticulous planning. So, and there's certainly a modus operandi with regard to the commission of these cases. Certainly, there are a lot of similarities between, Jessica and Valerie, and I think that's. And again, the victims that were found off of Gilgo, at least partially, in some instances, that we found them earlier, right? So we had more. We had more evidence, more indication of what happened to them. But I mean, if you look at all the victims, and then in the context of all the evidence in the case, it would certainly appear that the house figured prominently. And again, when with many, if not all, of the victims, we were able to establish that the family was out of the house at the time of the time the victims went missing.
What I noticed in the document is that it says that Valerie Mack was killed or had been dead between 2 and 8 weeks, and so that suggests a longer period of time when she was actually killed. I mean, do you have any reason to believe she was kept in the house for a long time before she was brought to the woods?
Yeah, well, we're not going to speak to that. I mean, I think we the only thing we're able to do is estimate through forensic experts, given the condition of the crime scene, and that's where that 2 and 8 period time frame comes from. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm waiting to see if the family's going to speak or anything like that. I have the document. I'm going to read it, and I'll probably make it into a video. Oh, well, that's the end of that. Okay, hold on. No. Do it. Okay. Hold on just a minute. Let me get this pulled up. All right, I'm going to show you first some pictures of Valerie, and then we'll read the document. It's 37 pages, but it's got some pictures on it. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so this is the woman he was charged with murdering. He got charged with murdering and dismembering Valerie Mack. That's one picture of her. Here is another. That's the woman he's charged with murdering. He got charged with murdering today. Now, here is the document, and it's got a lot of information in it. So let me get a sip of coffee and clear my throat, and then we'll read this, because I'm going to probably try to cut this and make a video out of it for people who aren't in the live stream. Okay. Willow. So what I did was I typed into Google and I asked for the bail document, and I was able to find it. After we go through the document, excuse me, I'll record how I found it. Like, I'll do it on screen so you can see how I found it. So that way you can have it too. I did email it to Zio, and so hopefully she can get it dropped in the Discord. I don't know how to upload documents to Discord yet, so she kind of does that stuff for me. So hopefully it'll be there soon. So it starts, Supreme Court of Suffolk County, State of New York. The people of the state of New York against Rex Heuermann. And this is a bail application, but it gives the information for like his document and all of that stuff. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Oh, okay, awesome. I'm glad you found it. So it starts. On July 14, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was charged by a grand jury with the following 6 counts, which have been incorporated in Suffolk County Indictment number 71889-23. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York Statute Penal Law Section, and it gives a section, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on or about July 10th, 2009. No. No, thank you. Okay, I want to go down. Oh my God. Hold on. I'm going to pull it up on my computer because I downloaded it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hold on just a minute. Open, please. All right, it's loading. Mitochondrial DNA, possibly. Sarah said, so I may be wrong about this, but I'm thinking the same kind of DNA processing on trace evidence is what there has been talk about with the West Memphis 3 and retesting if possible. Hopefully. Hey, Shaboogies. Okay, so I'm going to start over. Supreme Court of Suffolk County, State of New York, the people of the state of New York versus Rex A. Heuermann. It's a bail application. It's indictment number 71635-24. The defendant. Oh, it says Rex Heuermann's the defendant. On July 14th, 2023, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was charged by a grand jury with the following 6 counts, which have been incorporated in Suffolk County Indictment Number 71889-23. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Law Section, and it gives a section, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on or about July 10, 2009. Murder in the first degree in violation of New York State Penal Law Section, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June 6th, and then the death of Amber Costello on or about September 2nd, 2010, and those are all first degree. And then murder in the second degree in violation of New York State Penal Section, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Melissa Bartholomew on or about July 10th, 2009. It's good to see you, Shaboogies. Murder in the second degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Megan Waterman on or about June 6, 2010, and murder in the second degree in violation of New York State Penal Law, a Class A1 violent felony, and the death of Amber Costello on or about September 2, 2010. On January 16, 2024, defendant Rex A. Heuermann was charged by the grand jury in a superseding indictment, Suffolk County Indictment Number 70126-24, which incorporated not only the above counts but the additional charge of murder in the second degree, a Class A1 violent felony for the death of Maureen Brainerd Barnes on or about July 9, 2007. Today, defendant Rex A. Heuermann stands before this court charged by the grand jury in another superseding indictment, which incorporates each and every one of the above the additional charges of murder in the second degree for the death of Jessica Taylor on or about or between July 21st and 26, 2003, and murder in the second degree for the death of Sandra Costello on or about and between November 19th to 20th, 1993. The people filed a written bail application at Rex A. Heuermann's initial arraignment, which occurred on July 14, 2023, as well as a defendant's arraignment on the initial superseding indictment, which occurred on January 16, 2024. Those applications are annexed hereto as Exhibit A. Let me see what y'all are saying. Sarah said, the controversy here is that there's such a small amount of trace DNA evidence that it is more susceptible to contamination, therefore altering the results, I guess, for a lack of a better word, right? So, on July 14, 2023, the Honorable Richard Ambrose ordered the defendant, Rex A. Heuermann, be remanded without bail. The matter was subsequently adjourned to August 1st, 2023, before the Honorable Timothy Mazzi. On August 1st, 2023, and in the ensuing appearances that have followed, this court has continued to remand the defendant without bail. Set forth below is the people's bail application in support of the new superseding indictment, which will expand on additional evidentiary developments in this investigation, now charging defendant Heuermann with the murders of two additional victims, Jessica Taylor and Sandra Costello. Based on defendant Heuermann's indictment and additional murder charges as it pertains to now a fifth and sixth victims, the serious and heinous nature of the serial murders, the planning and forethought that went into these crimes, the strength of the people's case, the length of incarceration the defendant faces upon conviction, the extended period of time that this defendant was able to avoid apprehension, and the remaining facts set forth herein and contained within Exhibit A, the people remain steadfast that the only means to ensure defendant Rex A. Heuermann's return to court is to remand him without bail. The 2003 and 2011 discovery of the human remains of Jessica Taylor. On or about July 26, 2003, an individual whose identity is known to law enforcement, hereinafter Witness 1, was walking his or her dog just off West Housley Manor Road in Manorville, Suffolk County, New York. At this time, Witness 1 observed what appeared to be human remains, which prompted him or her to call 911. Upon arrival, members of the SCPD observed the remains of a female later identified as Jessica Taylor. Miss Taylor was found lying on her back with her legs bent underneath her. Notably, the victim was decapitated and both of Miss Taylor's arms had been severed from her body below her elbows. Moreover, a tattoo on the victim's torso had been severely obliterated by a sharp object. Investigators believe the mutilation of the victim's tattoo, decapitation of her head, and dismemberment of Miss Taylor's arms were acts perpetrated by Rex Heuermann to inter alia, inhibit the identification of the victim via facial recognition, fingerprints, and or tattoo identification. During the initial investigation in Manorville, 2003, the victim's heads, arms, and hands were not found at the scene, and their location remained unknown to law enforcement for approximately 8 years. I'm going to throw up a trigger warning banner real quick. Let me see what y'all are saying. Okay. On March 29, 2011, Miss Taylor's skull, hands, and forearm were discovered along Ocean Parkway just east of Gilgo Beach, Suffolk County, New York. Notably, Miss Taylor's remains were located on the same side of the road from where Maureen Barnard Barnes or Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello, hereinafter the Gilgo Four, had been found just several months prior to in December 2010. Each of the Gilgo Four victims, as well as the skull, hands, and forearms of Miss Taylor, were recovered on the same side of the road and at a depth of within 50 feet from the edge of the parkway. Furthermore, Miss Taylor's remains were located less than a mile from where the Gilgo Four were discovered. See embedded image on the following page. All right, so we get a picture. Is it posted where the heck? I don't know. Okay. So it says pin marker 1 is Jessica Taylor. Pin marker 2 is Maureen Brainerd Barnes. So she was right here. Pin marker 3 is Melissa Bartholomew, right beside Maureen. Number 4 is Megan Waterman, which is right here. And number 5 is Amber Costello, which is right here. Information relevant to the disappearance of Jessica Taylor. Jessica Taylor was last seen on or about July 19th, 2003 in New York City. The investigation to date has established that in July 2003, Ms. Taylor was working as a sex worker in the area of Midtown Manhattan. On July 21st, 2003, at approximately 8:41 p.m., Ms. Taylor utilized her cellular phone, hereinafter the Taylor phone, to speak with her mother. Based on witness interviews and an analysis of telephone records, the Gilgo Homicide Task Force learned that the two spoke for approximately 7 minutes. During that call, Ms. Taylor had arranged to visit her mother on July 25, 2003 in Poughkeepsie, New York for her mother's birthday. Less than 2 hours later, at approximately 10:22 p.m., the Taylor phone placed an outgoing call which lasted approximately 2 minutes. Thereafter, the Taylor phone records reveal no further outgoing calls. Calls or accepted incoming calls. Oh, it recorded no further calls or accepted incoming calls. On or about July 5th, 2003, when her daughter failed to arrive at her Poughkeepsie residence or answer any phone calls, Miss Taylor's mother notified law enforcement. At the time Miss Taylor's disappearance, Rex Heuermann worked in the same vicinity as where Miss Taylor was known to, quote, street walk, i.e. work as a sex worker. Records seized during the execution of prior search warrants reveal Heuermann was in fact present in Midtown Manhattan on July 21, 2003, the same date Miss Taylor disappeared. On July 26, 2003, and in the days thereafter, members of the SCPD canvassed the area around Halsey Manor Road in Manorville, in the vicinity of where Miss Taylor's remains had been found. As a result, investigators spoke to witnesses who had, on July 25, 2003, at approximately 10:30 p.m., observed a dark-colored Chevrolet truck backed into the same wooded area where Mrs. Taylor's body was later found. Based upon their investigation, law enforcement determined that these observations would have occurred approximately 13 hours before Witness 1's 911 call. Notably, the investigation to date has established the defendant, Heuermann, purchased a 2002 dark-colored Chevrolet Avalanche pickup truck on or about March 22, 2002, from Ramp Chevrolet in Port Jefferson Station, New York. Accordingly, on July 25, 2003, at 10:30 p.m., defendant Rex Heuermann would have been in possession of a vehicle matching the description of the one observed in the vicinity of where Miss Taylor's remains had been found on Halsey Manor Road. Abella said, "These poor women, I load this POS." Unfortunately, this case further validates the statement of, quote, the easiest murder to commit and get away with is that of a junkie. Yeah, it's sad. that people think of women like that as trash. They're no less of a human being than any of us. A forensic analysis of Rex Heuermann's digital devices also revealed the following. 1. On or about July 28, 2003, Rex Heuermann accused a Newsday article entitled "Cops Seek Help in IDing Manorville Body" regarding the discovery of Miss Taylor's human remains. That online activity was subsequently deleted, and 2. On or about July 29, 2003, Rex Heuermann conducted an internet search for a new Chevrolet Avalanche despite his 2002 Avalanche being just over 1 year old. See embedded image below. The analysis further shows Heuermann also attempted to delete the search for a new vehicle ID. Notably, this activity occurred just days after Miss Taylor was discovered and just days after witnesses observed a vehicle matching the physical description of Heuermann's leaving the scene. So it says 2003 Chevrolet Avalanche 1500 5-door crew cab, 130 4-wheel drive. He accessed the search on July 29, 2003 at 4 a.m. and then modified that same day at 3:27 p.m. He deleted it. I can't read everything that says. I'm going to put out a video reading this later, and I'll try to see if I can figure out what all that says. Finally, while the make and model of the vehicle Heuermann searched for is the same as his 2002 vehicle, a Chevrolet Avalanche pickup truck, the exterior color is different. And it is a rival blue. See embedded image below, as well as another in Summit White, which are significantly brighter exterior paint offerings by Chevrolet when compared to Heuermann's dark green 2002 Chevrolet Avalanche. Hairs recovered from the remains of Jessica Taylor. During the course of the investigation, Miss Taylor's body was examined by a forensic scientist with the Suffolk County Crime Lab, hereinafter SCCL, which revealed that Miss Taylor had been decapitated, dismembered at her arms below her elbows, and revealed irregular disruption of the victim's nipples and obliteration of her tattoo. During the examination of Miss Taylor's body, a male human hair was recovered, specifically from a surgical drape that had been underneath the victim, hereinafter male hair underneath Taylor. A subsequent examination of the male hair underneath Taylor led to the determination that it was a human head hair with Caucasian and European characteristics. It was based on the DNA testing capabilities at the SCCL, unsuitable for further DNA testing at that time. Oh my God, that's crazy, Trixie. Okay. On or about August 24th, 2023, the Gilgo Homicide Task Force brought a cutting of the male hair underneath Taylor to an outside forensics laboratory, previously referred to in Exhibit A as Forensics Laboratory Number 2, which specializes in forensic mitochondrial analysis. On or about February 1st, 2024, Forensic Laboratory 2 issued a report concluding that the mitochondrial DNA profile developed from the male hair underneath Taylor and the profile developed from the defendant's buccal swabs are the same, specifically at a rate that would, as per the EMPOP database, exclude 99.96% of the North American population as the contributor of said hair recovered underneath the decapitated and dismembered remains of Jessica Taylor. While 99.96% of the North American population can be excluded as the contributor of the male hair underneath defendant Heuermann cannot be excluded as the contributor of the said hair recovered underneath the remains of Jessica Taylor. On or about March 8, 2024, the Gilgo Homicide Task Force brought a cutting of the male hair underneath Taylor and a DNA extract of Rex A. Heuermann's buccal swab to an outside independent laboratory, previously referred to in Exhibit A as Forensic Laboratory Number 1, which applies DNA techniques and direct genome sequencing in difficult to solve forensic casework and the identification of human remains. Right here, this says, witness from the Suffolk County Medical Examiner's Office have determined that the irregular disruption of the victim's nipples did not occur naturally, and one possible cause for such disruption is the post-mortem mutilation of the victim's nipples. EMPOP is shorthand for the European DNA Profile Group, EDNAP, Mitochondrial DNA Population Database, which is a web-based collection of human mitochondrial sequence data from various populations worldwide. The North American database includes 12,386 sequences of North American forensic significance. On or about April 29, 2024, Forensic Laboratory Number 1 issued a report indicating it had developed nuclear DNA profile for not only the male hair underneath Taylor, but also from Rex A. Heuermann's buccal swab. Forensic Laboratory Number 1 was then able to conduct a one-to-one autosomal nuclear DNA comparison between said profile developed for the male hair underneath Taylor to Rex Heuermann's SNP genotype file developed from his buccal swab, which resulted in the conclusion that the DNA profile generated from the male hair underneath Taylor is 1.837 by 10 to the 603rd power times more likely to have come from a person genetically identical to Rex Heuermann's SNP genotype file than from an unrelated individual. Based on the foregoing, it is significant that the two forensic laboratories have now independently determined that the aforementioned hair recovered from the surgical drape underneath the remains of Jessica Taylor are subsequently more likely to have derived from a person genetically identical to defendant Heuermann's mitochondrial and nuclear profiles, which provides further support that Rex A. Heuermann murdered, dismembered, decapitated, and transported the remains of Jessica Taylor to Manorville and Gilgo Beach until the victim's remains were ultimately discovered in July 2003 and March 2011, respectively. Heuermann's family travel in relation to the disappearance of Jessica Taylor. As part of the ongoing investigation, the Gilgo Homicide Task Force has also established that Heuermann's wife and children were out of the state at the time of Miss Taylor's disappearance and murder, a consistent theme attributable to the defendant for each of the charged homicides thus far, which would have allowed the defendant unfettered time and opportunity to execute these crimes. And then this right here tells us the 1.837 by 10 to the 603 power statistic and the following statistic probabilities are provided in scientific notation. The standard notation for those numbers is 1,837 with 600 zeros thereafter. Okay, y'all, I'm not going to read this whole document because I don't have time, but I am going to put it out in a video. I want to show y'all this before I leave. They've got his calls. They got some kind of thing for his long distance. There's a book in here somewhere too. Date book for Heuermann. So it's showing that the times that his wife went out of town. This is saying the DNA results, the mitochondrial DNA and stuff. I'm going to show y'all this. This says the foregoing is corroborated in part by Heuermann's possession of other serial killer books authored by John Douglas. And it's titled Cases That Haunt Us, which I found interesting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to eat something because I need to eat something. I've got my live to get ready for. I'm going to eat something and then I'm going to record this. I'm going to record myself reading it and put it out in a video. so that you guys have it. Let me show you how I found it real quick before I go for the day so that you guys can find it if you want to. So I typed in Rex Heuermann. This is what I typed in right here. Rex Heuermann blueprint for murder planning document. Okay. And there was a document drop that popped up. Hold on, it might have been the one before this. It's his bail document. So you can type in Rex Heuermann bail document. Right here. So let me make sure y'all can see it. I typed in Google Rex Heuermann bail document. And then right here where it says document cloud, it's titled bail application Rex Heuermann Gilgo Beach. You can click on it. And then right here it says download file. You can download it right there if you guys want it. Okay. Y'all are funny. All right, I'm just going to end this one out here, and then we'll do our normal live stream for today. We'll listen to our music, and we will see the missing children and all of that. I've got to update that video, but I doubt I'll get it done today. I want to thank you all for being here and watching this with me. I really enjoyed watching it with you guys. Again, he is charged with the murder of Valerie Mack. Yes, I'm coming back at 1:30, and it's 11:43 now. I will be back at 1:30 for my regularly scheduled live. This was just a morning update kind of thing because they were having that presser on this. So yes, I will see y'all at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's 11:43 right now. I need to eat and do all that, and I'm going to try to read this document and get that put out today, probably after the live. I doubt I'll finish reading it before our regularly scheduled live. So thank you all for being here, and I'll see you guys at 1:30. Until then, bye.